Hey, welcome. Today we're diving deep into something you live with every single day, but probably don't think about all that much, your skeleton. And we're not talking about some static Halloween decoration, no way. We're gonna uncover the incredible, dynamic life story that's happening inside your bones right now. Let's get into it.
So let me ask you something. When you picture a skeleton, what comes to mind? Is it just a dry, dusty, lifeless frame? You know, a simple scaffold that just holds you up. That's what most of us think. But the truth is, it's so much more fascinating than that.
Here's the thing you have to understand. Your skeleton isn't just a static object. It is a living, breathing organ system, just like your heart or your brain. It's in a constant state of flux. It's basically a lifelong construction project, constantly building, breaking down, and reshaping itself based on how you live your life.
So where does a story like this even begin? Well, funnily enough, it doesn't start with bone at all. It starts with something much softer, a lot more flexible, like a blueprint.
That's right. Before you have a single hard bone in your body, your entire skeleton is first laid out as a flexible model made of something called hyaline cartilage. Just think of it like an architect's blueprint, a perfect, miniature, rubbery version of the skeleton that the real bone is eventually going to replace.
So how do you turn that blueprint into an actual building? Well, this process called endochondral ossification happens in these really cool stages. First, a little collar of bone forms around the middle of the cartilage model. Then the inside starts to calcify and hollow out. This makes room for blood vessels to move in, and these guys are like the supply trucks, bringing in the specialized cells that start laying down real bone. That bone then spreads out and gets longer until, boom, you have a recognizable developing bone.
And check this out. This image shows the whole journey perfectly. You can see it go from that simple cartilage model at just 9 weeks in the womb, all the way to a complex developing bone in childhood. It is an absolutely incredible transformation that really sets the stage for a lifetime of growth.
Okay, let's jump into the next chapter in this story, growing and remodeling. Because once your bones are formed, believe me, the work is far from over. It is a lifelong construction project.
Ever wonder how you actually get taller? The secret is something called the epiphyseal plate, but you probably know it as the growth plate. It's this thin strip of cartilage where new cells are just rapidly multiplying, pushing the ends of the bone out and literally making it longer. This little plate is the engine that drives all of your growth through childhood and your teen years. Now, all that growth and maintenance doesn't just happen by magic. Oh no. It's managed by a tiny, dedicated construction crew of cells. You've got your osteogenic stem cells, the source of it all. Then you have the osteoblasts. Those are your builders. The osteocytes are like the on-site managers, just maintaining everything. And finally, you have the osteoclasts, the demolition crew. And the two main players in this lifelong remodeling game are the builders and the demolishers. The osteoblasts are constantly working, laying down fresh, new bone material. At the exact same time, the osteoclasts are busy clearing out old or damaged bone. It's this perfectly balanced dance between demolition and new construction that keeps your skeleton strong your whole life.
And this all happens in what we call the remodeling cycle. It's happening in your body as we speak. Osteoclasts carve out old bone, and then the osteoblasts move right in to build it back up, stronger. This process is so relentless that you essentially get a brand new skeleton every 10 years or so. It's this constant renewal that is the absolute essence of what makes bone a living tissue.
Okay, now let's look at a really cool case study that shows just how much our bones respond to our lives. Let's take a look at the story that's written in your skull.
You know, if you were to actually touch a real human skull, you'd realize it's not perfectly smooth at all. It's covered in all these unique bumps, ridges, grooves, and even holes. And these aren't just random imperfections. Every single one of them tells a story. These features are called bone markings. And here's the kicker. You are not born with most of them. They actually develop over time as a direct response to the forces your body puts on them. The constant pull of your muscles, the pressure from your blood vessels, they all leave their signature. We can basically break these markings down into two main types. You've got projections, which are these raised areas that form where your muscles and ligaments attach. The stronger the muscle, the bigger the projection. Then you have depressions and openings, which act as little passageways for nerves and blood vessels. Your skeleton is literally sculpting tunnels and anchor points for itself exactly where it needs them.
And wow, what a journey of growth the skull goes on. I mean, look at this. The change is just staggering. from the tiny base of a newborn skull to the huge expansion by age 1, and then finally to the fully formed, thickened skull of an adult. It's just a brilliant illustration of how much shaping happens in those first few years.
All right, for our final section, we get to what might be the ultimate proof that your skeleton is alive. Its incredible, built-in ability to heal itself.
When you break a bone, your body doesn't just glue it back together. It kicks off this amazing 4-stage healing process. First, a blood clot, called a hematoma, forms at the break. Then, the body creates a soft, cartilage-based splint to hold things together. This soft splint is then gradually replaced by a hard, bony one. And finally, over months or even years, that bony patch gets remodeled until it looks almost exactly like the original bone.
And if you want to see just how mind-blowing that process is, take a look at this. On the left, you've got a fractured collarbone from June 1st. And on the right, that's the very same bone just 6 weeks later. The speed and the sheer efficiency of this natural repair job is it's stunning. And it's only possible because bone is a living, dynamic tissue.
So, let's bring it all back to this one core idea. Your bones are not inert objects. They are a living record. The forces you put on them, the way you move, the life you lead, it all gets etched into their surfaces, sculpting them into a structure that is uniquely, completely yours.
So in the end, from its humble cartilage blueprint to its constant remodeling and its amazing ability to heal, your skeleton is so much more than just a frame. It's an active participant in your life. It really is your personal history written in bone. So, let me ask you, what story is yours going to tell?